Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Double Innocence with your boy E Double, bringing it to you live and direct. Hope everybody's well. I had the opportunity to see the Marley movie. So now it's not really based upon what everybody else is saying, it's based upon my own personal opinion. And I could honestly say, without the shadow of a doubt, I understand exactly why people, certain Jamaicans, individuals, and stuff like that would have a problem with the movie. I could understand. Um, Number one on the list would definitely have to be the accent. I mean, like I said before, it's a hard pill to swallow when you're listening to other people perform your accent, and you know for a fact that it's being forced. So it would have been nice if there was a natural flow to that. Also, the fact of the matter that honestly speaking, for whatever reason, and like I said, I'm a big time Bob Marley fan. I mean, I engraved him on my shoulders from the age of 17, 18. So you have to understand, I'm a big time Bob Marley fan. And that being said, watching the movie, there was a lot of times I found myself, my mind start to wander, not focused on the movie. It wasn't really drawing my attention, so to speak. So those are my negatives I had from it. It showed a little bit of Bob in a different limelight. Like it showed him more of the type of individual that was relationship bound, especially where him and Rita were concerned. And honestly speaking, throughout my life of following Bob and all that kind of stuff, I never saw him as much of a person that just settled down in a relationship. He was just a free spirit. That's the Bob Marley I grew up knowing. So watching the movie, when you're watching, basically like the main focus on the relationship between him and Rita, which it very well may have been. But I'm just saying that what we saw Bob Marley, it was never portrayed in that particular image, in that limelight. Bob seemed like an individual that did what he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, and how he wanted to do it, and who liked it, and who didn't. That was just life. We just figured that he was just a lucky individual to have had an individual like Rita in his life to understand him on that level and accept him on that level. What happened behind closed doors was none of our concerns. For all we know, maybe she was in his skin about it on a regular basis, about his lifestyle. For all we know, maybe she made his life a living hell, for all we know. But the image that was portrayed to the public was, this is what it was, this is how it was, and she remained his wife until the day he passed. That's what we knew of the situation. Simple as that. He never turned his back on her. He had his children with her. But Bob was a free spirit. If anybody who knows anything about Bob Marley, you knew one thing about it. He did what he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, and how he wanted to do it. So, that being said, that part of the movie was a tad bit confusing. And I hope I'm not ruining it for anybody who hasn't actually seen the movie yet. I'm just giving my personal opinion. I still want you guys to go ahead and see the movie. And hey, if you saw something a little bit different, maybe correct me. I'd be more than happy to listen to what you guys have to say, go back and watch it myself, and maybe come up with a different opinion. The Bob Marley that they did, the gentleman that he did have playing Bob Marley, he was a little bit too tall for the role. We know Bob Marley is a small man. He was a little frame of a man. He was not tall at all. That's basically what I got from the movie. When I saw the documentary of Bob Marley, the 9 Mile version, that felt like Bob Marley. And I know it was a documentary, so of course they're going to focus more on the more accurate things in his life and stuff like that. I understand that. But all I'm trying to say is, if you're going to do a movie about an icon such as a Bob Marley or a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X or any of the black icons that we've had that have passed, I just believe you need to do it as much justice as you possibly can at any point in time, whether it's a documentary or a movie. I think you need to try and get it as accurate as possible. So, to be able to do this particular Bob Marley film, where I went into it hearing people's issues with it beforehand, which may or may not have been a good thing, because maybe that might have swayed my opinion one way or the other. I haven't really put no thought process into that. But to actually watch the movie and understand individuals' issues with it, and then to come up with my own personal issues with it, it's a sad thing to say, but I think maybe this particular project might have been just a little bit of a waste of time. If you were gonna do that type of justice to it, then you just should not have done it at all. That's my personal opinion. And that really has absolutely nothing at all to do with the fact of the matter that you didn't choose Jamaican actors to play certain roles. That's a different issue for a different day. I just think, like I said, if you're going to do something with an icon such as a Bob Marley or any of the other prophets that we had before, you got to do it as much justice as possible. Documentaries are always going to be documentaries, and they're always going to be as accurate as possible. But movies have to do it as much justice as possible. And I just don't feel this particular Bob Marley movie did it as much justice as possible. Please, if there's anybody out there that disagrees with what I'm saying, I'm more than happy to hear what you have to say. Share it in the comment section. All I ask is to just do and say anything you have to do and say with respect. There's no idiots here. Your opinion, you're not a fool. My opinion, I'm far from being a fool. I love open discussions. I appreciate open debates. I've had a couple of them on my prior videos, and you guys don't understand that I appreciate stuff like that, because that helps me as an individual. I like to see things from a different lens, because sometimes I could have tunnel vision. Unfortunately, it's a trait that I picked up from my father. I was born in May. I'm a Taurus. I can be stubborn. Yes. I try my best not to be. It's a work in progress. That's all I can say. That being said, if you guys like what you've heard here today, like the content, share, like, subscribe. Hit those like buttons. It costs you absolutely nothing. Or if you dislike it, hit the dislike button. It costs you absolutely nothing. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. Double Innocence with your boy E-Dub is out.